organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, a yearly tradition canceled. We'll give you the scoop on the Hockapalooza students aren't getting this year.
And what extracurricular at the UI calls for entire lines of buses to be rented out? The huge event, the story tonight.
And in sports, the Hawks and the Skid. Highlights and reaction coming soon.
All that and more, Daily Iowan TV is coming your way now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Good evening and welcome to your Sunday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Reed Chandler.
And I'm Kelsey Kniff. Country fans weren't enough to keep Hockapalooza around this year. Officials announced Friday the concert headlining Eli Young Band and Joe Nichols will be canceled due to unforeseeable circumstances. The show is set to be in Carver Hawkeye Arena and cost students $10 to attend. Previous Hockapaloozas have been free and in Hubbard Park. Ticket refunds will be available starting tomorrow at 10 a.m.
A few weeks ago, President Obama announced a new plan to make colleges and universities more affordable for students. The Daily Iowan will feature a story tomorrow with local insight on this plan from both Republican and Democratic sides, but we thought we'd point out the highlights of President Obama's initiative. According to the announcement, Obama is calling for national standardization of higher education, starting with a ranking system to be published before 2015. He says states should disperse funding to their schools based on that rank. He's also asking for student loan interest to be capped at 10% of a payer's monthly income. And again, you can get the full analysis of that plan and how the University of Iowa fits into the national effort in tomorrow's pages of the Daily Iowan.
Women are rushing to go Greek this week. It's an event that calls for lines of CAM buses to drive those around who hope to join a sorority at the UI. A record-breaking number of students went through recruitment this weekend for Iowa's 14 chapters. And Daily Iowan's TV's Brianna Jett shows us what it's all about.
This weekend marks the beginning of the university's fall formal recruitment. 14 sororities welcome potential new members into their houses in an effort to get to know them better. This year, the sororities saw more women get off those buses than they ever have before.
This year we had 907 sign up, which broke records for us. We had 872 sign up last year, and that was the biggest number we had seen in, I'm pretty sure, at least 10 years. So we're breaking records, really excited about that.
Recruitment is structured in 4 rounds, where both the sororities and the new recruits narrow down their favorites. It all ends on bid day, when formal invites are sent out. Only 80% of the recruits are expected to go through all 4 rounds and make it to bid day. Even with a record-breaking number of women going through the recruitment process this year, if all of them follow the guidelines and the rules that they are given, each of them are guaranteed a spot in one of the 14 chapters on campus. In fact, the plan is to only keep growing.
So as long as our numbers keep growing, really, so will our new member classes. So will the amount of women that we can place into chapters.
Even the new recruits can see the growth.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of people. I mean, I don't know if I could feel like a record-breaking, because just in general, it's a ton of people, but I would believe it, because there are a lot of girls.
This is Brianna Jett with Daily Iowan TV.
And still more to come on Daily Iowan TV.
I'll give you this week's hottest headlines in your Medical Minute.
And in sports, wrestling lives. We'll explain in just a bit.
But first, we'll toss it over to Daily Iowan TV's Megan Tickner for a look at this week's weather.
And Megan, it was another hot game day yesterday. Today's looking a little gloomier. What can we expect for this week?
Well, Reed, this week has a variety of everything in the forecast, starting off with tomorrow. The morning will be 76 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Moving into the afternoon, those clouds should move out with the temp rising to the high 90s before dropping back down to 81 degrees in the evening. Now looking at the extended forecast, Tuesday's high will be a temp of 100 degrees with a 20% chance for rain. Wednesday, that temp will drop as a chance for precipitation sticks around. Thursday, the skies should be clear again with 82 degrees. Both Friday and Saturday will be in the low 70s. Well, looks like this week is starting off a bit toasty, but by the end should be seeing that perfect fall-feeling weather. Well, that's all I have here. Reed and Kelsey, back to you.
Thanks for that, Megan. And now we have our health reporter, Muriel Kone, on standby with our Sunday segment of Medical Minute. Muriel, what do you have for us from the health world this week?
Hey guys, a lot of things happening in health and medical news this week. For starters, a new national survey shows the use of electronic cigarettes has doubled in teenagers. The report is unclear in terms of how many of them use it on a daily basis. More kids, however, still smoke traditional cigarettes, and the dangers of e-cigarettes is still unknown. And after suffering for the last 4 years, the U.S. birth rate is finally leveling off. The number of babies born last year is a few hundred less than the number in 2011, according to the report, which suggests fewer and fewer couples aren't letting the struggling economy and other factors keep them from starting their families. Brady Hamilton of the Centers for Disease Control says we may be on a level course or potentially even see a rise in birth trends in the near future. And according to CNN, 3 people may have died in Colorado after smoking synthetic marijuana. The Colorado Department of Public Health has launched an investigation on an outbreak of illnesses at hospitals that started last month. These outbreaks may be tied to the substance, and Dr. Trista Ghosh, the chief medical correspondent for the state, told CNN in an interview, "Don't wait for the results of this investigation. If you have synthetic marijuana, stop using it and destroy it." And that wraps up the latest stories in the world of medicine and health. And make sure to join me next week on an exciting new research on brain exercise right here at the University of Iowa. Reed, Kelsey, take it away.
And now, some of your top stories beyond Iowa. This weekend saw 2 major wins for the Olympic front. The International Olympic Committee awarded Tokyo the bid to host the 2020 Olympics after the final round of secret voting on Saturday. Tokyo defeated Istanbul to host the Games in a 60-36 vote. The last time Tokyo hosted the Olympics was in 1964.
And just this morning, wrestling won its toughest match. The Olympic Committee reinstated wrestling for the 2020 Olympics after a 7-month-long crusade led by the wrestling organization FILA. The sport was abruptly dropped from the Olympics in February, but wrestling easily defeated squash, baseball, and softball in the vote.
Across the pond, Buckingham Palace found itself in a royal mix-up. Police demanded Prince Andrew identify himself while he was in the garden last Wednesday. Prince Andrew is the son of Queen Elizabeth II. The confrontation happened 2 days after intruders scaled the fence surrounding the palace, which was an embarrassing security breach for the officers. The prince responded to the apology with humor and said he looked forward to a safe walk in the garden in the future.
And now we'll toss it over to Daily Iowan TV's Jalen Suchek for a look at Hawkeye sports. After yesterday's game, Jalen, what kind of analysis do you guys have for us?
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio. More on Iowa's first win since October of 2012 coming up, but we start today with this. You're watching reaction from Mr. Wrestling himself, Dan Gable. As wrestling has been added back into the Olympic lineup for years to come, the sport had originally been put to a vote, and things did not look good for one of the Olympics' former staples. But after a long fight to have their sport reinstated, FILA and former Iowa coach and Olympic champion Dan Gable finally heard the news they were hoping for. More on Sunday morning's landmark decision coming on tomorrow's edition of the program. But for now, let's toss it over to Whitney Blakemore, who kicks off our coverage of Iowa football's first victory of the 2013 campaign.
Whitney Blakemore standing by here at historic Kinnick Stadium, where the Hawks are back in action and ready to play Missouri State, hoping to recover from their devastating 30-27 loss against Northern Illinois last weekend. While this will be the first game ever played between the two teams, it will not be the first game for head coach of the Bears, Terry Allen. He is an alum of Iowa City West High School, former assistant coach of Iowa State, and the past head coach for UNI. This man definitely has some insight coming into this matchup. Now for some highlights of the game, let's toss it over to Jordan Cabialis.
Hawkeyes looking to bounce back from their first opening day loss in 13 seasons. It was another hot one on Saturday at historic Kinnick Stadium as the Hawks played host to the Missouri State Bears, who will pick this one up late first quarter, no score. 2nd and 8 from the Iowa 33 when Mark Wiseman breaks free. 21 yards into Missouri State territory, and then 2 plays later, Rudock going to the air. Finds Jake Doozy, who will take it 18 yards down the sideline to the Missouri State 28. Later, same drive, 2nd and goal from the 6. Rudock can't find anybody, so he'll keep it himself. All 6 yards, over defenders, into the end zone. It's his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season, and Hawkeyes taking a 7-0 lead. Then, 2nd quarter, LaShawn Daniels didn't get to play last week, but found some time on Saturday with this nice 10-yard run there. And then Wiseman picks up 5 on 1st and goal from the 13. But next play, Rudock sacked for a loss of 7. Sets up this 33-yard attempt from Meyer, who misses it wide left. Herky having some fun with the young fans as we head to halftime. 7-0 your score. But the Hawkeyes will start the 3rd quarter with the ball, and 4 plays in. Handoff goes to Wiseman, who breaks free again, this time 37 yards down to the Missouri State 11. Then on 3rd and 4, Wiseman will get 3, so 4th and 1. And the Hawkeyes go for it, much to the delight of Hawkeye fans, and the handoff goes to Wiseman. But does he have enough? They'll measure it, and no, he does not. Missouri State holds, but goes 3 and out, so next Hawkeye drive, 2nd and goal from the 10, Wiseman powers his way into the end zone. It's his first touchdown of the game, 14-0 Hawkeyes, and Herky, he's loving it. Then, after another Missouri State 3 and out, Jake Rudock takes to the air, 47 yards to George Kittle down to the 33, and then Wiseman thundering his way into the end zone for a 3-yard touchdown run, his 2nd of the game, 21-0 Hawks, but Kiera Harris of the Bears will not be shut out, and he finds Julian Burton 27 yards to put the Bears on the board. Then, following a Jake Rudock pick 6, Bullock takes it down to the 2, setting up this Rudock's 2nd rushing touchdown of the game, his 3rd of the season, and 28-14, the Hawkeyes are victorious, 1-1 on the season. Let's send it to Chelsea Brown for some post-game analysis. Chelsea?
Opening up their 2nd game against the Missouri State Bears, the Hawkeyes came in focused and wanting to take home their first victory. It was a slow start for Iowa as both Damon Bullock and Jake Rudock tried to break the gap of the Bears' line. But on the 2nd drive up the field, Wiseman was able to rush down the gridiron, gaining momentum for the Iowa team. Following this play, Rudock rushed into the Missouri State end zone for the first touchdown of the game. Returning after halftime, Wiseman kept up the trend of rushing up and down the field, gaining 184 yards for the Hawkeyes.
Oh, Mark really got it going in that 2nd half, especially. I thought part of the running game is typically it's better in the 2nd half, but for whatever reason, things look kind of clogged up there in that 1st half, but he got it going certainly and gave us a spark.
While Wiseman's carries broke the Bears' line, a setback for the offense was the number of penalties received. Losing 100 yards due to unnecessary penalties, such as the late hits, the Iowa team still has growing to do before the Cyhawks series.
Finishing, and we had unnecessary penalties. You can't have that. It's hard to overcome that, and we did today. But you never know what's going to happen again.
The Hawkeyes ran to their first home victory with 2 rushing touchdowns from both Jake Rudock and Mark Wiseman, defeating the Missouri State Bears 28-14. This ends the Hawkeyes' 7-game losing streak and captures their 599th win as they head to Ames this weekend to compete against the Iowa State Cyclones in hopes of gaining the 600th win for the overall program. This is Chelsea Brown, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Thanks, guys. Great coverage as always. For more on all the black and gold action taking place over the weekend, be sure to tune back in tomorrow, same time, same place. But for now, it's back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Jalen. That wraps up our Sunday newscast tonight. But take a quick look at the headlines for tomorrow's pages of the Daily Iowan.
You can read about a University of Iowa professor running for mayor in Coralville.
And more on the landmark Olympic wrestling ruling in the Daily Iowan sports section.
Well, that's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out at the same time tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Have a great night, everyone, and stay with us for a quick promo from the University of Iowa School of Journalism.